The stages of spiritual awakening are a progression through different aspects of the spiritual experience. In this video, we will discuss some of the main aspects of these stages. Though others may say there are more stages than what we will share, these are the core 5 stages of spiritual awakening that we feel cover the basics of what you will need to know. So, let's get started. Stage 1: Transcendence. When the experience of truth is fully realized within, words have little meaning anymore. The person experiences a sense of great joy, bliss, and a peaceful recognition that all is one. The person's will is no longer the source of the joy. Instead, the person has surrendered to the flow of life and is no longer worried about its outcome. He or she simply enjoys the experience of being in the present moment. In many stages of spiritual development, transcendence can occur. At various stages, its meaning and benefits may vary. In contemporary Western cultures, most people experience transcendence during early adolescence, when the ego's primary concerns are social acceptance. During this stage, the individual's transcendence experience does not advance their developmental stage. Instead, it simply helps them achieve higher states of awareness. In such a state, the person is aware of the vastness of all things. In the realm of transcendence, the individual is free from ego and all of its attachments. When one enters transcendence, they are ego-free, but this is an extremely difficult process. Many people think that transcendence means shedding their ego, but that's not the case. The ego is a set of preferences, personalities, and point of view. It is only through the experience of transcendence that the person can learn to transcend their ego and become more aware of the truth. In some traditions, transcendence occurs in the physical body. Meditation or prayer can lead people to pay attention to their physical bodies, but they must be aware that their will is not the source of the experience. It is guided by the divine, and can only be achieved through a total devotion to the truth. This is a profound state of consciousness, a level of self-transcendence that may be the final step in the journey toward enlightenment. Stage 2: Joy. Despite what many people believe, this is not the only stage of spiritual awakening. Many people reach this stage without trying. In fact, up to 90% of people enter this stage without attempting it. Depression can be triggered by an intense life event, or can appear for no apparent reason. Many people fail to move past this stage either because they don't know how to do so, or they just decide not to. This stage is a great opportunity to explore and question old conditioned habits and negative thinking. In this stage of spiritual awakening, you begin to question your own life, society, and man-made systems. In this stage of spiritual awakening, you will notice changes in your lifestyle, including your relationships and the things you used to find joy in. You may also notice changes in your dreams, which are simply your soul's way of transferring negative energy. You may also develop a more intuitive sense as you start listening to your inner voice. This can be a great tool in your spiritual awakening journey. Joy is one of the stages of spiritual awakening that you should aim for as you move further into your spiritual development. While you are in this stage, you will also be soaking in new ideas and habits and are consciously making the shift into a new mindset. Your quest is more personal and often relates to a new spirituality. You may be looking for a teacher, a new tool, or a new way to live your life. It will be more difficult to make a change in your lifestyle, but you may want to consider this as a way to find your way home. Stage 3: Hope. At this stage, you may not be interested in feel-good spiritual viewpoints and surface practices. You may be more interested in deep, transpersonal viewpoints, the inner child, or shadow work. You may study transpersonal philosophies or other practices in an effort to relieve your pain and find inner peace. Hope may be a ray of light in the midst of a heaviness. Hope may lead you to the knowledge of your true nature. At the beginning of the process, you may be scared of the process. You may be terrified of opening your eyes to the unknown and seeing a world that is not like your own. All around you start to fall apart. Your beliefs and ways of living become mistaken. You begin to feel trapped and confused. You may even feel as if you are about to implode. This is where your transformation begins. You may feel disoriented, confused, and even scared. During this stage, you may begin to recognize the sexism, lies, and narcissism, for example, have permeated your life. You may also change the types of people you spend your time with, choose new friends, or begin new activities. These changes are indicative of a new spiritual awakening. You may even discover new therapies. The process of spiritual awakening is an adventure. You'll learn more about yourself, your feelings, and your purpose in life. You may experience emotional lows or lack of motivation, but it is a sign that your soul is ready to be awakened. The ego wants to live its soul purpose and seeks to express it. However, you must learn to rely on your intuition. In times of emotional lows, you should take advantage of your intuition and try to stay calm. It can be helpful to get still in order to connect with elusive energies within you. Stage 4. Connection. The stages of spiritual awakening are suggestive, but everyone's process is unique. Just because others have reached certain stages doesn't mean that you can't as well. The purpose of the awakening process is to achieve self-discovery, self-realization, and ultimately, a path. This process often leaves us feeling disengaged from our world, unsupported by our loved ones, and completely lost. When we reach this stage, our sense of connection to spirit will return. This is because energy flows down to the earth. Birds on overhead wires cannot receive energy from spirit. When we leave the emptiness stage, we will feel the pull of spirit up into the air, yet we must stay rooted in the ground. This process is called multidimensional awakening, and it requires concerted effort on our part. At this stage, people begin to explore new ideas. They may learn more about metaphysics, and they may explore religious texts. In this stage, people become aware of their innate psychic abilities. They begin to see others as equals, and synchronicities become common in their daily lives. As a result, they can change their mindsets and lifestyles. This is the time of spiritual awakening. After experiencing the inner transformation of connection, many people feel a sense of calmness and power. This is the time to reevaluate beliefs and priorities. Spiritual awakening requires us to question and reevaluate our beliefs, and it can lead us to new priorities. For example, when we reassess our beliefs and values, we may start to see that we were never truly connected to anyone in the first place. Stage 5. Awe. Awe is a stage of spiritual awakening, but what exactly is it? It's an attitude that has no formulas, pills, or wealth. It's a natural state that we all share, but it must be learned, developed, and cultivated. Awe occurs when we stop trying to make sense of the world and start seeing things from a different perspective. Our ego is not ready for this stage, and we find it hard to find meaning in life. We begin to seek things that are more esoteric and meaningful to us. We start exploring the world, our bodies, and the energies that surround us. We also begin to seek new tools, teachers, and spiritual practices. As our awareness increases, we become more compassionate towards others. We become more aware of our shared human experience and develop empathy for their suffering. We begin to see the light in everyone, including strangers. Ultimately, we become aware that all life is one, and this realization has profound implications on our lives. Awe also gives us the courage to let go of relationships that no longer serve our highest good. When we truly connect with our higher self, we can truly see and feel the light in others. Ultimately, this process of spiritual awakening can be an ongoing journey, with ebbs and flows. We can experience intense feelings of joy, connection, and awe, which are often accompanied by a feeling of discontent and a desire for something more profound. But if we're truly ready to make the journey, then the time for a deeper journey is now. We can begin building our spiritual muscles during this time of growth.